Good morning. I want to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. It's good to be back in a live session today. We are here at the courthouse operating under 33% capacity. So anyway, we'd like to open up our Pulaski Fiscal Court with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll lead us this morning. If y'all care to please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda would be approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. You all received a copy of those. What would be your pleasure?
Motion to accept.
Second. We have a motion by Magistrate Wilson, a second by Magistrate Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, and let's see, in old business, we have a couple of items there, the electronic cigarette bid opening and also the opening of the 2020-21 fiscal year bids. We've got a big folder of those, and I've asked Martin if he would kindly open those for us, and we'll record the bidder and I guess the amounts, and then we'll have those for review.
Yeah, and they'll be maintained where, in the clerk's office or in your office for the public if anyone wants to look at it?
In my office.
Okay. All right. This will take a few minutes. There's a few of them. This is a tire bid from Bingham Tire. And there's lots of stuff to go through, so I'm not gonna go through every line item, but bid from Bingham Tire.
It's a fancy letter opener.
It is.
Don't cut yourself.
I know. This looks like a get well card or something, but I believe it's a bid. It's from JBC Electric, I think, for HVAC and electrical work.
I wonder if people are cynical around that item.
This is from J.C. Tucker Concrete, bid for Pulaski County concrete work. Mark, I don't know what's happened to my knife. I thought it was sharper than that.
Mine?
I don't know, mine's doing more tearing than it is cutting.
Mine's a good old boy, have it.
This is electrical, plumbing, HVAC, heavy equipment, masonry, carpentry, and tree removal.
Billy Davis.
Billy Davis. Let's see if yours does better. Maybe my blade's too big. This one is same thing from MAW Development. Uh-oh. Make us do double work on that one. Wilson and Roy Construction for drainage tile and also for the electrical, plumbing, HVAC, heavy equipment, etc. is Southern Petroleum. It's for fuel, et cetera. This one is Cumberland Lake Shell for fuel. This one is from Hudson Materials Company for road oil. This one is Cumberland Oil Company for lubricants. This one is from Hanson Aggregates County Stone Bid. This one is from Scott Nix and Chris Jones for the electrical, plumbing, HVAC, heavy equipment, etc. This one is from Hinkle. Just says materials price quote. I assume that's all the stone for the county, what do you say?
Probably asphalt too.
Maybe asphalt, let's see, it doesn't say. It says materials price quote, Somerset stone.
Looks like there's another one too.
Cumberland stone, Casey stone, rock. This is from Rock and Dirt LLC for crushed stone products. Hinkle for asphalt paving. This is from Wamco for road paving, it says. Well, it also says milling keyways, cleaning roadways, tack oil roadways, paving roadways. Yada, yada. This is Triple Crown It's a quote for Triple Crown Concrete. It's a quote for, I guess, concrete work. It doesn't really say, but I'm sure it'll say down in here somewhere.
I think theirs is
That's
usually
probably
the actual
price.
material.
Yeah, the price on concrete probably.
Yeah,
But
usual material.
this is from CNC Mechanical LLC for the electrical, plumbing, HVAC, heavy equipment, etc. Same services from Taylor Maintenance Incorporated. This is from Weddle Enterprises for bid for heavy equipment and hourly rates. Gold Excavating,
Yeah.
equipment and hourly rates.
You did?
Just about natural.
Yeah.
Careful who I
Electrical, plumbing, HVAC, heavy equipment, etc. from McGowan Excavating, Inc. The professional contractors bid again, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, etc. from Keith Contractors, looks like. Keith Construction, sorry. Same services, a bid from Diamond Electric Incorporated. Same services from Roney's Plumbing. Rooney?
Brownie.
Thought that was right. This is for drainage tile, a bid from Interstate Construction Products Incorporated. We're closing in on the end here. This is Norfolk Construction Incorporated for painting, carpentry, and flooring. contractor's bid from Service Controls Incorporated, looks like. Yep, Service Controls Incorporated. And last but not least,
Drum roll, please.
we have a bid from Crossbar. Oh, this is for the electronic cigarettes.
For the jail. Okay,
That's for the jail, so that's separate than all these. Thank you, Mark. Try to go sharpen it now.
All right, so I want to first of all say thank you to everybody who took time to submit a bid to the county. We look forward to doing business with you as we can here. We need to entertain a motion here to accept these bids for review, and then I'll need to get a committee assigned to meet and look over these.
Motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Turpin, second. Mr. Branshaw, I think I heard him first, Jimmy. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and we need a motion to accept the e-cig bid.
Motion.
Review. Have a motion by Master Ranshaw, excuse me.
Second.
Second by Master Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Pass it over. Pass it around.
We're gonna do these two. You're gonna take them, okay.
Need to, let's see, can we get three of y'all to volunteer to be on a bid committee? Mark? Anybody else want to do that?
Put me on it.
Jason?
Oh, well.
Strunk? And I'll get Dan to be on that committee with you. John, would you like to sit in on the bid committee? So the five of y'all then, if y'all can get together, we'll have these bids in the office if y'all want to have a meeting to go over those, and you bring report back to court next time.
Amber usually gets it together and makes copies of everything so we can, yeah, ask Amber what she normally does and tell her, ask her if she would do it again.
Okay, I'll get her on that. Okay, moving on then to new business, we have a resolution. This is the CFR coronavirus, CRF, I guess, Coronavirus Relief Fund. It's a resolution allowing me to sign execute any documents which are necessary by DLG to reimburse the county, and authorizing the judge executive to act as the authorized correspondent for reimbursement. Motion. Got a motion by
Second.
Wheeldon, second by Marshall
Sorry.
Strunk.
Hold on a second. Do I?
He passed over the electronic cigarette.
Yeah.
He did that.
He did it, both of them? Okay,
We motion to,
okay.
accept it for
I
review.
must have been in deep thought over
We
something.
approve it, or did we just motion it?
We approved it
Did it approve the e-cig? I thought it was.
Okay.
for you. So I've got a motion by Marshall Wheeldon, a second by Marshall Strunk. Any further discussion?
I do on this. I know that's to give you the permission to apply for the reimbursement. Will the magistrates be getting a copy of the application for reimbursements every time you turn it in, so for us to review?
Like one, yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to, you don't have to do it, I'm just asking for
Yeah.
you to do it so we can review the expenses as
If
it's
you'll remind me,
getting
because
turned in.
it kind of happens, and then I sign off, and it goes in as a remind me, and I'll get a copy.
Okay. You can apply for reimbursements many times before the end of the year, but,
Yeah, it goes back, the reimbursement period is from March 1st through December 30th, 2020. So we're in the process now. We've got a list of expenses for reimbursement ready to submit, and then we'll have an ongoing list as the year unfolds. Hopefully, this coronavirus will we'll ease off and it won't be that much of a list, but just in case we do, I think it's, what, $2.2 million the county?
2.2 million to the county, and each city gets a bundle of money too, so some money to help them out too.
This,
But it's just for reimbursement, it's not for general fund expenses.
this is the 75% that y'all been talking
No,
about.
this is 100%.
Yeah, this is the money that they passed for the CARES Act that will be 100% reimbursable.
100 versus the 75.
Yes,
If and when this money runs out, then we go back to 75 from FEMA. So this basically is money that they've allotted from FEMA for CARES Act.
and if we don't use
for
the
local government.
if we don't use the $2.2 million, we lose it. It goes back to the state.
Hopefully, we won't need it, but it's there should we need reimbursement. And there are
We
certain
don't need
expenses
it.
that we are getting reimbursed for. All right, so any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we're gonna come back in the next court meeting for that CAECO resolution. We had some typos that need to be corrected on that. Next then will be our department report. So we've got, in the road department, we have your road requests. I don't know if there's any speed limit signs that need voted on separately. Do you all
No.
aware of that? If not, then we'd entertain a motion to approve the road work request.
Motion.
A motion by Turpin,
Second.
second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion?
I'm gonna ask again that you consider to bringing back our road crews. I just turned in 200 roads in my district that needs work on. And they're getting worse every day. The rain has tore up these roads again. And I think it's time for us to bring our crews back to get to work. So,
Think your two men are gonna get those 200 roads?
it's gonna take time, but they gotta start now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna take time.
I understand, Mark. We were trying to get them back, but we also, you know, we decided to do this, you know, you all voted to do it, and while we were here, we also decided that, we found out that because of the extension of the July 15th deadline, that we were shorted $1 million, from net profit taxes, and occupational taxes, and this has been one way that we've trying to carry through and make it, and I know we're all in the same boat. Every magistrate here has the same issues that you have, and it's hard to get everything done.
And
But
I
we're trying.
understand about some people still, non-essential people being laid off still, but our three-man crews at this time of year is essential to this county and to the roads. That's gotta be repaired, and I think our three-man crews should be back working the roads right now. That's my opinion, and
We're trying to help how we can. I mean, I know you were out mowing, I've been out mowing, trying to take up the slack, so, you know, unfortunately, your mower man is one of them, I guess the only mower that laid off, wasn't he?
no, I think yours isn't, is it?
I don't have a mower guy either, but
So anyway, we're trying to get through it. It's just it's a tough time right now, too. So, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Then we've got a request for 400 tons of hot mix.
motion.
Second. Motion by Wilson, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I don't know, Jimmy.
Then we've got a request for 3,000 tons of rock, which includes patching stone.
Motion.
Motion by Wilson, a second by Wilden. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we've got our treasure report. Joan, you've got a few items here for us.
I do. The first item we have is the bill list.
Y'all got a copy of your bill list?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Wilden, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed? Are you saying no?
Yeah, no.
Can we have a split vote? Let's have a roll call, please. Alicia?
Harpen,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wilden,
Yes.
Ranshaw,
No.
Strunk.
Yes.
Want to talk about why you're opposed to it?
Same reasons as the last one.
Which is just
Once
Don
again.
Franklin?
We're paying them another $4,000+ again on this bill list, and I don't see, the initial benefit might be good, but we're not, I mean, what are we gonna do for the future? We're gonna have him do every time we have an emergency, we're gonna bring him back in and pay him, what, I think we're approaching $20,000 so far.
Well,
So, and that's
You
one
and
of
I've
the,
had this talk before court, and basically it's money well spent. We've been
And I know-
praised from the state for having an EOC that's doing a great job here. Don Franklin is arguably the best one in the state to do that. You know, he's very detailed, and he has a list together of every expense, every billable hour, and we will get reimbursement for it. We will be reimbursed for Don's help. And this is something that we've not had before, and I don't know why you're opposed to this work that we're doing.
Is he training somebody in the county to do it?
I've already answered that question. Johnny has been in there getting trained, and so is Jason Hancock's been in there beside Don the whole time, and Aaron Ross has been there, so yes, we're doing this.
I'm just,
I think you're mad because there was memes on the wall about you, and everybody that's at that
No.
EOC, you have made a point to try to punish
No.
everybody.
No, I'm over that. I done said my piece about that. I'm just,
We're moving forward, Mark.
I'm marching out for the people's money in this county, and I just, that's great that he wants to help, but are we are we spending $20,000? I
Let me-
know it's getting reimbursed.
You asked me about this the last meeting, last time we met, and I went and did some research, because you said that you talked to this lady who said that they would help us set up the EOC, and we didn't need to be spending money. I talked to this lady, now, hold on.
I didn't talk to her. I told you I talked to state EOC that said they have people that can
Mark,
come down here and
You
train.
told me, you talked to the lady that replaced Don Franklin, and I found out who that was, and she sent me a letter. I'm gonna read this to you, because I'm tired of this. It said, "Good morning, Judge Kelly. It was brought to my attention that a magistrate, Mark Ranshaw, made a reference that he spoke with me regarding running the Pulaski County EOC, and that Don Franklin should not be hired or paid as a consultant.
never
I
said
watched
that.
the video of the May 12, 2020 meeting, and although Mr. Ranshaw did not state my name, his innuendo certainly implied that he spoke with me, and I'm offended by this. I work very hard at maintaining good and honest relationships with my counties. With that being said, I don't need, nor do I approve of anyone speaking on my behalf without my knowledge or approval, especially speaking untruthfully." Verbatim. We have a lot of EOC bills on this, and I still have not received a copy of the total expenses of the EOC. It's up to us magistrates to be able to oversee the EOC. There's a lot of money being spent. I'm wondering once again when we can get the total expenses. I believe the total expenses should be sent to each magistrate once a week. And also, we do not have a copy of the policies and procedures for the EOC, and we do not have anything.
Who's that from?
This is from
Sounds
the,
like two different.
no, this is
That's
her
mine. That's what
quoting what he said at the meeting.
But I never said I talked to her directly. I never once said I talked to her directly. I said I
You told me
visited,
you did in a
I
text.
visited the EOC up in the state, and they said they have people that can
Mark,
come in here
she's
and
basically
train.
saying you're being untruthful about
I never
this.
talked to her. I
I'll
never once
make this
talked to her.
copy, I'll get you a copy of this,
That's fine.
and I'll send it to the newspaper. You're misrepresenting.
I never once talked to her about it. I talked to the state EOC when I visited.
Motion carries, by the way. Next item then, Joan?
Oh, I'm sorry. The next one would be the bank reconciliation for the month of May.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
I-
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have
The last item I have, other than a comment, is our fund transfers. And I do, for some reason, I put the 612, but it does need to be changed to 69. I apologize. And it is for the jail fund. Both are for the jail fund.
Motion.
Second. We have a motion by Strunk, a second by Wielden. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And my other thing was, and I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but because we have to approve bids and budget and all that, we have to have a second court meeting this month to cover everything, all the year-end fun stuff.
I think we're planning on now, we can
We're
meet
planning on
and
back to
have the-
normal. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
I think 33% capacity is the restriction right now.
Yes, that's all I asked for, and thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
What about our flex fund money? Have you,
Do we have a
They've
final
changed
number
it.
yet?
The last I heard was 470,000. That was the last I've heard, the last information I received from the Department for Local Government, the last information I received from State
we can
Transportation.
get ready and go with that? 'Cause
Can
I know
we-
Jacob's
can we
needed it.
verify that first
We
before we
can,
start
we can
spending
go
it?
with that. I doubt it will, if it fluctuates any, we know it's not gonna go up.
Yeah.
If anything, it would go down, and I think it would be minuscule if it did go down.
Have you heard anything on it, Jacob? No.
I haven't, no, just some of our other counties that we work in have said that there has been some discussion about possibly not fulfilling the full value.
So, and then when I talked to somebody, they said there was a possibility. They don't have that.
We just need to plan
We
on
need to
407 and go with it.
Well, the bad thing, Mark, is you said we need to verify, but if they don't know,
Yeah.
there's nothing to verify. And if, what we've gotta do is go with what we've got right at this moment.
I think we need to go ahead and start the process, turn
Oh,
in our numbers,
correct.
get them approved, and then
If
if
it-
it reduces, we just have to reduce the amount.
We'll reduce the amount, or we'll drop back 5 yards and punt and see what we can do. Because they have to understand too, that we're in budget season. I mean, they can't start changing the rules on us right in the middle of this. I mean, it puts us just at a standstill if they keep changing everything. I'm tickled.
I'm suggesting that if we haven't heard anything, they're not gonna change it. It's,
I would think so, because they understand what we're doing, they understand where we are for this year.
It's kind of a long process, so we.
Exactly, and they know that
We can get started.
it doesn't happen overnight,
Yep.
We have so many steps we have to go through to get that, so. But I'm with Jason, and I think we need to get everything locked in so we can get the ball rolling and not be behind.
Sounds good.
And I've got 2 items. I apologize. If you want to put these off till next meeting, I think we can. Because one item is a library board appointment, and it just didn't make it onto the agenda. I apologize, but if you all would like, I would recommend Dan Dutton to serve a 4-year term on the library board.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Turpin, second by Strunk. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and the next item, Joan may need to speak to this. I didn't tell you I was even gonna bring this up today, but we have talked about, in our policy, we have a vacation buyback that we allow to happen in July and in December.
Oh, yeah.
And just due to the shortfall in our net profits tax and the occupation tax in this last quarter, I was gonna see if you all be interested or willing to suspend that July vacation buyback. That's something that Joan and Donita and I have discussed this past couple weeks, but if you have any questions about that, we can wait till the next meeting if you'd like, because we have until July to.
Right.
Can we get some more information on it? I mean, I would like to see the policy and all that before I vote on it.
It's in the policy, you should have, do you not have a copy of our personnel policy?
But can you reference that for, you know, what part, section
It's
is
in
it
the,
in? So we
it's
can
in
go back
the
and-
attendance and leave portion.
Okay,
Basically, we allow people, if they have a certain number of vacation hours, twice a year, they can sell 40 hours, or once a year, they can sell 80 hours, and that is in July and December.
okay, and that,
Now,
they just turn it in for cash?
They, you sell it back, yes.
And do we allow that, a portion of that in the current budget at all? In our budget, is there a,
No,
Right.
it just,
So it
it's
just-
built into your salaries and so forth, because we can never predict how many people are going to do it.
okay,
It's non-predictable.
If we suspend that they don't lose those hours.
Oh,
right?
no,
They just-
absolutely
yeah.
not, no.
They keep-
It just keeps,
hours,
Sell
they
'em
just,
back.
yeah, they just can't sell them back at this point. And hopefully we'll be in better shape December and can pick it back up.
is there any, has this been discussed with the employees that might have a burden by not doing it? I mean, like, say, somebody actually needs that money or something like that, and wants to trade in their vacation hours.
See-
Has it been presented to the employees, is what I'm saying?
Do the employees know? I doubt it, because this is something that Steve and I discussed, and before we do anything, it would have had to have been discussed with you guys to change that.
Can we approach the employees and see if anybody would be displaced by not having, by shutting that down and not doing it this year? Is that,
I'm sure you'll get calls this week.
I'm sure you will.
well, can we find out if it's a burden to somebody, I don't want to say no. I mean, if they need it to pay health bills or whatever, I don't want that to be a burden to the employee. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I
maybe we could
think-
look and see how many people done it last year and kind of,
It just it kind of varies,
yeah,
because, it depends on how many people,
and maybe, maybe we could just limit it.
There won't be a lot of them, cause there won't be that many of them stay long enough to have that much
don't know
time
why.
built.
yeah, spitballing.
Used.
But we can look at that. Mike, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
There won't be a lot of them, cause there won't be many of them have that much time built up, they'll have it used.
Right, and, you've got the people that are on layoff, well, they'll be back by July, never mind, that's not an issue.
I just think it's something we need to discuss with the employees and make sure nobody's gonna be put out by it.
But, Mark, here's the thing. I could tell you I've got tons of bills that I've gotta have it for. What if I just wanna go out and,
Well, we have to take the employees.
Buy clothes.
If the employees need the money, I don't wanna do it hopefully they're not gonna go out and party on it. Hopefully they're gonna, if they absolutely need the money,
If we allow it, that's.
I mean, if we
it's their
allow it,
money, it's
you
their
know,
money. I mean,
Yeah.
they wanna
if
party,
if I say,
I mean, I just wanna make sure that, you see what I'm saying? If somebody needs it to actually to pay their health bills or to pay back bills or something like that, or something that, I don't want it to be us to be the ones to say, no, you can't have the money.
Okay.
So we'll
Postpone it.
Yeah, we'll look it over and see.
bring this up again if y'all want at the next meeting.
Mark, it's on page 58 of the
I'll go back and look, I don't have a copy with me, so.
administrative code.
And I don't think anybody here would say, I don't want employees to have that money, but I just know where we're at right now with the money shortfall. It's a financial decision that the court needs to look at, so
Their
that's.
days don't build up while they're laid off either.
Mm-mm.
So like what you said.
Like I said, a lot of them ain't gonna have time.
Well, there's some criteria. They can't drop below 80 hours after the exchange.
Right.
So they gotta have 80 hours left. They're limited to 40 hours twice a year or 80 hours annually. They have to be in 40-hour increments only. until their exchanged hours are taken without pay, so.
So the easier thing probably would be to compile a list of the employees that actually are eligible to trade.
Yes, and Donita always does that, and then sends out a memo when it's time, and she always has a list
So
of who
she
is
can let
eligible.
us know that before the next court meeting.
I can ask her to, yes, absolutely. And I'll get it to you all before
Yeah.
the next court meeting, so it's not sprung on you.
And speaking of the next court meeting, that's on election day. We need to move, or what we need to do there?
Probably need to do it on Wednesday or-
Actually, Jimmy, could you does anybody have a calendar up real quick?
What do you need?
What date is the 30th on?
30th of June
Or-
is on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Actually, that would probably be the best day to do it, the last day of the fiscal year. That way we can have everything, either that, or do it on the Thursday, the 25th.
I don't think I'm available on the 30th, if
Okay.
that matters. I mean, I can have something.
Well, that's fine. What about the 25th? As close to the end as possible.
Yeah. You can do the 29th on a Monday, either one, whatever you.
I'm also thinking about, not having a whole lot of outstanding checks, so we know exactly where we are. But, because we'll have to have another bill list to get everything settled out. The 29th is fine.
Is that all right with everybody else? Fine with me.
Works for me.
Make a motion, we move the court date to
Same time.
June 29th at 10 a.m.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, by Mr. Wilson. Any further discussion?
And that will be a special called.
All in favor? Any opposed?
I have one more question on that last discussion still. We can vote to change the admin code at any time throughout the year?
It has to be reviewed, it's reviewed in April, and the judge can make changes
In June? and-
throughout the year, and to my knowledge, the magistrate should make changes during the month of June, but the judge can do it without, it's a weird thing, and I
Still
can't.
takes a court vote, but I can present
You
changes
can
throughout the
present
year.
it, the magistrate can present it during the month of June.
Is that the only time the magistrate can present it?
As far as I know, I would have to refresh my memory on that one.
Because we don't approve it till later on, right?
We approve it by July 1st, don't we?
Usually we
the
approve
new
it by
admin, we
July
get
1st, as long as there's no changes, because the personnel policy is an ordinance and requires 2 readings.
Okay, so is there gonna be any changes to this one that we need to review before the next
As far
meeting?
as I know,
I mean, one I would like to see is us lowered, since we're going into a financial crisis, I would like to see us lower the bid process to $10,000.
that is,
Require a bid for any work,
okay,
$10,000. I would like to see that because, I mean, that way it may save us some money in the long run.
Under the administrative code, section 1.3, you all review it during the month of June, and if 2/3 majority of the entire fiscal court votes to do so, you can amend it at that time. Then at other times, the county judge may prepare and submit amendments to the code for approval by a majority of fiscal court.
that would be something you'd need to get with your fellow magistrates over.
So what do we, just have to vote on it?
Well, it'd have to be presented and first reading, and then
I think-
advertised in second reading.
Yeah, I'll look further, but I think the only time the court can do it is during the June.
Window.
Otherwise, the judge can can propose changes that the court by majority would have to approve.
So we need to do a first reading of it today, right?
Pardon, I'm sorry.
We'll need to do a first reading of a change today.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you could do the first reading, am I correct, at the next court meeting? And then that would make it done by the magistrates and then do the final.
The thing is, we can do it after July 1st, it'd just be me submitting the recommendation.
But it would be I mean, I want to make a recommendation that we consider that for, because there's been a couple purchases that went right up to $19,995 period and
That
no
all,
bid.
It
It was no bid, it became a no bid process, and I,
No, that's something that unfortunately happens, and
but I think we can
it's
save
not
money.
just here.
We did keep ours down at 20,000 when the rest of the state
I
went to
know.
30,000.
Went to 30.
And I think during this time of crisis that we're in, I think we need to lower it and try to save as much money as we can.
But here's the caveat that would be, or the flip side, or the problematic is, and Martin, correct me if I'm wrong, these bids that we take right now for like fuel, construction, concrete, et cetera, they've got a bid, so if it goes over $10,000 or $20,000, they're still covered. Am I correct?
Say that one more time. Sorry, I was grabbing some books.
Okay, like our bids that you opened today.
Yeah.
If, let's say we've got an excavation job that goes over the 10 or the 20 or whatever, they're still covered because they have a bid in.
You mean the bids we accepted today?
Correct. Well, or last year, that we have in place,
Yeah, because they bid, yeah.
because they've bid. So see, that doesn't stop it.
But I'm not saying on that, I'm saying on these other purchases, like trailers and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
On vehicles and stuff like that. So I just think that we need to lower that aspect, and I think we can save money by doing it, so.
I think on that particular trailer bid you're talking about, they actually lowered it to $19,995 because it was
So-
higher than that.
Because if not, it would have been,
It
they
was
would
a
have had to
$22,000 or
bid it out.
$23,000 trailer.
It was,
They
they
said they'd let us have it
lowered
for
it
that.
down,
So we didn't have to bid it out. So we didn't have to bid it out.
but you would have paid more had we put it to bid. Probably.
I'm just
Because it was a
saying.
$23,000 trailer.
And like I said, that's between
I'm just
you all. I
trying to
can't make that recommendation. I can't make that choice for you. I just
It's
advise.
Nothing wrong with saving money. We gotta try to do whatever we can. I agree with you. As far as the process we don't have, the document in front of us to have a first reading, so I don't know if you can have a first reading without a document. It's probably the way.
Were we supposed to have the first document today?
No, if we had no changes
No changes, we don't have to do
with it,
anything?
no. All we have to do is say we've reviewed it, et cetera. We're good to go.
Is that personnel policy too?
Yes, because it's a part of the admin
Decide
code
you
now.
wanna do, then just let me know and we can propose that after the window's in. All right, well, if nothing else, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?